Hello, friends. Welcome to Saga Thursday, the show all about the skirmish miniatures game from Studio Tomahawk. I'm your host, Rodge, as always, joined by a friend of the show, Hamza. How's it going, Hamza?
Hi. How are you doing?
Awesome. So we're going to be discussing Saracens today. You're the, I don't know, you play Saracens a lot. Some guy apparently is a Saracen tournament winner, but I'm already agreed to talk to you. You know, it's too late for me to try to find that guy. So thanks for.
I won a local tournament, if that helps.
All right. Awesome. So, no, you've been playing for a while with these guys, and you've graciously decided.
I started playing them last year. So I played in the British Grand Melee with them in fall last year, and then I played them in that went all right. I think it was 26 players. I came fourth place with the Saracens.
Nice.
I made a couple of mistakes in the games, which made me lose them. And then I played them in a couple of Grand Melees this year and some local tournaments. I played them in the Dutch or Benelux Grand Melee. Actually, that's in Belgium, so forget I said Dutch.
Yeah, it looks like I think you came in second there, right?
Yeah.
And that's where another Saracen came in first, right?
Yeah,
for
but we both had 4 wins, and he killed like 2 warlords more than me, and I also played like very tough opposition from like the highly ranked German players, so I consider that like successful.
Awesome. And how'd you do in? Did you take them to the Polish Grand Melee?
I took them to the Polish also, and I got 3rd place. And I lost against the winner, who was playing Militis Christi, and who was a very competent player and fun to play with. But I played basically against all the guys in the like top bracket, so like 1, 2, 6.
If you keep winning your games, man. If you keep winning your games, you're gonna have to play those guys, right?
Yeah, so I played these for a while now, and I had fun with them. So I think I can maybe teach people a few things.
All right, you're the man we're talking to today, and let's just jump into the equipment options and kind of set the stage here. So the Warlord, he's mounted on a horse. That's his thing. That's what he's doing. The Hearthguards are mounted on horses and may be equipped with composite bows. Pretty nice. The Warriors are your plain foot sloggers, mounted on horses or equipped with composite bows. And then the Levy just have bows. So not every army can take the composite bows. You're not forced to take them here, but are you taking some composite bows?
Depends a bit on like the opposition, but mostly yes.
Okay.
The thing about the composite bows is like how easy can the opponent reach you without getting fatigues? Because you want to keep your distance, but if they have like they can move very far and charge very far without getting fatigues, then you need to like be careful with taking the composite bows, I would say. But usually they're pretty good, especially on the warriors, I'd say.
Okay, so some warrior composite bows. Is there ever a case for the Hearthguard?
Yeah, most
composite
of the time
bows?
I use that also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're going to see some abilities on the battle board that help with, because these units, as you can see, they have very low armor in melee. So they're very, very vulnerable, but they're fast. So.
Okay. Now, looking at the board, just real quick. So the Saracen board is actually unlike a lot of the Age of Crusades boards. I don't see any specific Hearthguard only abilities.
Yeah.
One of these is mounted units, which would affect them, but you can still take mounted warriors. So,
there is one that only works on composite bow units with 6 men at least.
Okay. So you're not locked into taking some Hearthguard like a lot of the Crusades factions are. Are you still taking? It sounds like you're still taking them. Or what kind of mix are you looking at?
I think like what has helped this army is the new like half point rule, which means like you can take 6 Hearthguard, and that's like the perfect number for these guys because having 8 is way too many. I mean, the game is decided if something happens to them or not.
Yeah.
If you're not careful. But 4 is too few to actually make an impact. So the half point rule has really turned this army, I think, into a lot better than what it was before, I would say. So I usually take a 6 hurt guard, sometimes 4, sometimes 6, but I've tried the 8, and like I said, if you take like the composite bows and you have armor 4, you're fighting somebody who maybe has javelin cavalry, they're gonna whip you to shreds. But 6 guys, that's, I mean, you lose them, it sucks, but it's you still have your like lots of stuff left.
Okay. And then I guess the last thing, we love our levies. We love them with bows. Are you working those in, or do you get your shots from the composites? Okay.
Yes, I love levy. I think they're great. However, they're a bit weak, especially if there's not enough. To get the max out of them, you need to like be really good at placing the terrain, because in the open they're gonna be destroyed. So I usually take 1 point of them. In most games, sometimes 1.5. Like a 10-man unit and an 8-man unit.
Okay, sounds fun. Sounds juicy.
So yeah, this army has some flexibility. You can when I bring it to tournaments, I try to have like a warrior foot unit, a warrior composite bow. I don't take warriors with just mounted, because I don't feel they have. I think the other two are better. Because they're more like specialized, and I also take like 6 mounted hurt guard without bows and 6 with bows, basically. Okay. But you wanna have some flexibility to get the most out of this army, I think.
Yeah,
miniature wise.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes you want to just juice it in one particular direction. All shooting, all speed, but have a little mix. We'll see you through the tournament.
Exactly, like you can take some units out, some in, and so on.
That's always handy. All right, well, let's jump to the battle board as we do. And up top, just the usual business. So I'm already going to hit down to coordination. Already a 2-dice ability here. Yeah. It's 2 commons, I believe. The swords, right, are the commons for you? It's a melee ability, gain 4 dice, attack, defense, or a mix of both. Each time your opponent triggers a saga ability during this melee, gain 1 extra attack and defense dice. So some nice high numbers there, but 2 dice. Is this what you use? Before we started, you said there's a lot of some abilities you don't touch, and then some are the go-tos. So yeah, this board has some duds. I don't think this one is a dud, because this is one of the. I think like in Saga, the like Islamic armies have like convoluted ways to get attack dice. There's nothing like do this and just gets them easily. There's always a catch, some kind of a condition attached there.
So here this is fine, but it's costly. So you can't use it like, especially if you have a heavy warrior build, you can't like activate the warriors and also play this. So the way it works is you want to like see what the opponent I mean, if you expect the opponent to trigger a lot of stuff in the combat, you can play this. You can also use this to defend. If you have like foot warriors and you put this on and take 4 defense dice, they're going to be really hard to get rid of. So that's it's a good defensive ability for warriors, and if you have the dice, it's good to start attacks with your cavalry, but it is very expensive, so you have to like consider the options. This
2 dice, like you said, it's robbing some warrior activations for you, but if you're running that big Hearthguard unit, every defense dice or attack dice is well worth it, and we know where those big combats are going to happen, and I don't think this is going to dissuade anybody, but you're just kind of adding in extra attack and defense as they're trying to stop you. It is
tough to take on Saracen infantry with this on. I mean, if they play this, and even if you gain attacks, they're going to get a lot of defense. So they can be very tanky with this.
Yeah, nice little ability to kind of mess with the opponent's mind. Always got to love those to get rid of some cognitive load, shift that over to your opponent and stress them out. I like it. And let's go down to armor-piercing shafts. This is a shooting ability using an uncommon die. If the target of the shooting attack is within short of all figures in your unit, pretty darn likely if you have those composite bows, your attack dice get a +1 bonus. Now, before we chat a little bit, now, this board doesn't have any changes with the abilities with the facts specifically, but something with composite bows changed in the fact. Does that make this more useful or not? Can you just maybe elaborate on that?
I don't remember what the fact was, but it doesn't really affect Saracens so much.
Okay. I thought there was some...
This is one of the dots, unfortunately, because when you said like it should be easy you have to get every figure within S.
Mm-hmm.
That's not so easy to do. Unless you're using very small bases, you're probably not going to get it. And there's another ability where it lets you like move in and shoot and right away, which wants you to put more distance between you and the opponent. So unfortunately, this ability is not good. You would need a very strong shooting attack to get a plus, to have use of the +1.
Mm-hmm.
What it can help with is maybe like other armor 3 units, and you have like a 6 hard guard or something. So if you've started a combat, stuff died, and now you want to shoot, and you use this basically to give yourself the bonus to maybe force the opponent to take away one of your fatigues, because if he has a warlord nearby or maybe mounted herd guard nearby, this is going to be nasty. However, it's very difficult to pull off. To get all of the models within S. So most of the time, not using this.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, because you got to get the rear rank within S.
The base is like 50 millimeters.
So the front guys are like within like very short, practically touching, trying to get the cav bases in. And generally you want to be as far away as possible with your shots, so that makes sense. Well, is the next ability down here, multiple shots, is that the one you want to go with instead here?
No.
No? Okay. Well, we're going to talk about it anyways because it's the next one down. Common or uncommon dice. Activation ability. Choose one of your units equipped with composite bows containing at least 6 figures. Each enemy unit within short of this unit must roll a die. If it's higher than their armor against shooting, they suffer a casualty. So it's kind of like a shooting, but not really.
Yeah. And it has some uses, also very limited uses, but what it can do is basically there are some scenarios where the first player can't activate to shoot, but they can activate a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
And you can like move up and do this and take away some miniatures.
Right, yeah, some kind of like the Mutatawiya, you know?
Yeah.
Where there's no shooting or melee taking place, but people are dying.
Yeah. And also, like some people, I mean, it's not so popular around here, but there are those like armies that when they have like just a bunch of thousands of like 4-man units of warriors or 6-man units of levy, you know, they want like those millions of saga dice. This makes it a bit nasty for them.
Yeah, actually, I would be kind of afraid of this playing as pagan peoples against a Sarah. You could just roll in and probably hit 3 or 4 of my little 6-man levy units and maybe pop each one on a 50-50, just kill a casualty and knock down some saga dice.
It's also good in especially like against I mean, it's not great against pagans because you want to put the distance between you and them. Mm-hmm. You maybe get a little close if you want to do this, but this is also good to deal with like those terrain. Some people, like especially like Byzantines, if they have like models in terrain and millions of defense dice, I mean, you're not going to kill anything. Mm-hmm. This is a way to get past their like.
Yeah, it's outside of the.
But I don't want to talk. I mean, to make it worth it, you need to basically hit 3 units. Otherwise, you're not. Mm-hmm. You can't rely on it.
Wow.
It's just better to move up and shoot most of the time.
Yeah. Well, this would just be in addition to cream. Yeah. Cream on the cake. All right. Well, we'll find that good shooting ability. Is it Brotherhood? Is it?
Yes.
Is it the next one? Okay. Woo! We found it finally. Jeepers. Use any Saga die. Love that. Activation. Activate one of your units to shoot. If you use a rare, you get 2 bonus attack dice for the shooting attack. If they suffer a casualty, all the units which charge at this turn get 3 bonus attack dice. Yeah, that is a tasty little treat.
Yes, yes, it is.
Here.
And also, if you're like playing a bunch of levy, because I usually play like a 10 and an 8, just to cover parts of the board easily, and this is pretty good. I mean, you can. He always puts a bit stress on the opponent. So like, should I trigger my shooting abilities now, or should I wait? There's a 6 unit of like mounted hard guard running around with composite bows. What I'm gonna do? You're putting a little pressure on them. Also, a good ability to like shed fatigues from your mounted units, basically. So if you like move up and shoot with this instead of the free shot, maybe they. I mean, you already had a fatigue before doing that, but yeah.
Okay.
But they also like activating levy with the sword, like the common.
Yeah, I was gonna say nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, kind of having. I could see definitely having 2 levy units to kind of cover just basically the entire battlefield almost, so you can really dial this in and make sure you get the unit you want to mess up. Now,
but I don't think you can like make this part of your strategy, because the opponent can actually like block it. Like they can just like, oh, I'm gonna use my defense dice now, and nothing happens, and then you have like 2 units of levy that won't do much. So it's a nice to have, nice to activate. Levy, but not. I wouldn't build like the whole strategy around getting this off.
Sure. Now the Saracen board, I don't know if this is a record. I'd have to go back and look. But there's actually, this is one of 5 abilities that can be upgraded with a rare placed on it. Is this the one that's going to get that rare magic?
No, it's not.
Okay. It's been better placed somewhere else.
Yes.
All right. That sounds good. But yeah, this is probably best played on the levies. Yeah, because the composite bows, it just kind of doesn't do anything. It kind of messes you up, because you're going to shoot for free anyways, and now you're going to like pay to shoot. How does it work?
It depends a bit. Like I said, like if you have a couple of, you have like 6 man of hurt guard. I mean, sure, you get the fatigue going in the melee, but it's it's possible to, or like if you moved in, fought, and then you're gonna shoot again, and you shoot with this. It can be, and you have some more units to activate. Like it can be. It's one of the things that this board does. It makes it somewhat unpredictable for the opponent what's gonna happen, like where the attack is coming or who's gonna carry it out. So it helps a bit to make it. I mean, it makes it like harder for you as well, because you need to have a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I'm just trying to visualize the sequence of events here with the composite bows. So the composites, they can move in. You spend your dice, or move them. However, you take your free composite bow shot.
Yeah.
And then you can pay and use this ability.
No,
because it activates.
You need to do another activation, so you can do a charge.
Well, okay. Do you have to, rules-wise? I mean, so you could...
Yeah, you can.
I mean, you just wouldn't be able to... So you could pay a dice to move. You get a free shot.
Yeah.
You could pop this ability, but you would get a fatigue afterward, and you wouldn't be able to shoot for free afterwards, because the composite bow effect wouldn't take place.
I don't think you can. I mean, if you have a composite bow unit, you cannot shoot with it twice.
Okay. So that, I'm trying to understand. Yeah. Because javelin, they're similar but different. But so it's a blanket. You can't shoot twice with composite bows, is how you've played it. So you're not using this to double down. You're just using this. Possible. So it is less handy with the composite bow. I mean, but you're getting these abilities on top of it, Yeah. Just
one more thing, like why this board really doesn't like the big units of hurt guard. Like you have to note that like it's 3 bonus attack dice. So if you're generating 16, you're not getting anything.
Yeah, that's not gonna work for you.
So, and also like your levy can actually get 3 bonus attack dice, so you can shoot and then charge, and then you're up with like 7 dice.
That's awesome. If
and then
some people don't respect the levies, and just end the move close, I'll charge them next turn. And,
yeah. And they're like, wait, you're charging me with like 7, and there's another ability that gives you attacks, and like it can be a surprise.
You can do Brotherhood and then charge in with coordination. All of a sudden, you got 11 or 12 attacks.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
Oh, that's funny. All right, well, let's jump down to Indomitable. Melee, common or rare, gain 4 defense dice, 6 if you use a rare. Your attack dice suffer a -1 penalty, unfortunately. And not bad. I guess there's an ability later on that will give you a +1. Maybe you could counteract it, but
but it gets expensive, I think.
Yeah, but if there was an ability made for the closing rank, man on foot, this is it.
Yeah.
You know?
This is like also like this board can actually do foot infantry pretty okay. This is really good on foot infantry. Like if you had the coordination and this, I mean, you're up. It's very hard to kill them.
Yeah,
I mean, they won't do a lot of damage to you either, but yeah. On the horses, I don't think. I mean, maybe the rare is good, but I usually don't use this. I don't think the payoff is that good on horses.
Mm-hmm.
So this is if I'm using foot infantry, maybe I'll have this on.
Yeah, it's kind of like auto.
Again, not a great ability. I think the -1 penalty. Of course, 4 dice for one, for a common is really good, but I think the -1 penalty is pretty rough.
Yeah, like it's nice to keep your Hearthguard alive, but I mean, you want him to be the hammer, and it's tough to be the hammer if you have a -1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, great for the foot sloggers. Super annoying for the levy too, I'm sure. If you save it for those guys.
Depends if they're in terrain or not. I mean, if they're in solid cover, it's really good. But I usually find like the levy overperform when Hearthguard charge them. Right? They always like take down 1 or 2.
Oh sure, yeah. You don't want to ruin their.
You don't want to mess with the holy balance, the cosmic balance of levy owning Hearthguard in melee.
That's
so
true.
Yeah.
They're probably good for 3 out of 4 hits if they're hitting them on 5s, you know?
Yeah, because the opponent's like, should I waste like my combat abilities on the levy, like the defensive ones? No, I shouldn't. I mean, if you play this, you make it obvious for him. So I prefer to not use it on them.
All right. Well, let's go down. Scourge of the Infidels. Uncommon or rare. Melee ability. If they've closed ranks, they lose 2 attack dice. Otherwise, they lose 4. Oh, a nice little micro decision for the opponent. Gotta love it. If you use a rare, you gain as many attacks as the opponent lost. So this is awesome, I would say, with the rare.
Yeah. This is pretty good, especially on horses that can close ranks.
Yep, picking your targets, you know.
And there's also like this style of where you have like many small units, like pagan peoples, you said. I mean, this is really rough against them. Also, like armies that don't have a lot of attack dice, like the Moors, for example. Mm-hmm. This is really brutal.
Yeah. Well, lets your Hearthguard safely charge into those big levy blocks. If you just wipe
and also warriors.
All of their
everybody can do it. Like the composite bow warriors. I mean, they have armor 3, but if you're not attacking them with any dice, armor 3 is fine.
Yeah, this is really good for kind of turning those tables. And I'm sure it's kind of like stealth durability on your units there. You know, it's not just about defense dice, which you can definitely get it. And you could really do some weird defensive combos if you really needed to between coordination and Indomitable and this one. But do you have any stories about taking some kind of insane charge by comboing all these defensive abilities?
None that I can think of now. I mean, I played the in the Belgian Grand Melee, there was there was a couple of German players who had these huge shooty warrior crusaders, like 44 bowmen and 6 migrants.
Crazy.
And they had those like small units to generate dice and shoot, plink away a little. And that for them, this was very unpleasant to play against.
Yeah.
Because I would like go in, take away their dice, beat up a unit, shoot on something else, and attack maybe again, have some other ability on, and it would just be really rough against those. However, there's some controversy with this ability. There's like, what happens if your opponent has only 3 attack dice? Does it work? And my interpretation, based on the Anglo-Saxons having a similar ability that takes away the opponent's dice, it's explained in the like Ragnar Talks section, like what happens if you have, because they have an ability that takes away like half of the dice.
Per maybe like the number in your unit or something. Something like that, right?
So it was like a question, like what happens if I need to take more dice than my opponent has, and they say like, well, he's disarmed, he doesn't fight, you can still roll. Mm-hmm. So that's how I play this also. But I would it's gotten me into arguments once, I think, like what happens.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, again, like if it's the warriors, I don't actually care. But if it's the her card, then 3 attacks. I don't want the 3.
Don't want a single one going through.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there are abilities like that. I think we can play. Hopefully, with your gaming group, you play with the sense of common sense.
Yeah.
I agree that an ability shouldn't be able to be not used, or be activated and do nothing, because of some arbitrary threshold,
Yeah.
So I agree that that's how it should be played. You can kind of read it the other way. Hopefully there'll be a FAQ or rulebook change or something in the future here that will kind of elaborate that. But probably if you are an event or something, maybe chat with the tournament organizer. At least make sure, see if he's on your side before
I usually like, if the game's going well, I'm like fine either way, but if it's not, then I'm gonna go.
Well, you don't want to set the precedent, because then later on you're like, I really need to block those attacks. I'm not gonna let you do it this time. That's interesting. Thanks for bringing that up. Much appreciated. Something to be aware of. Let's jump over to one of the craziest battle board ability. I don't think there's anything like this on any other board and anything in existence currently that I can think of. But it's Ruse. It's a common or rare. Choose an enemy unit. If that unit has no friendly units within short and is within short of at least 2 of your units, they must discard 1 Saga die of their choice from their battle board, and 2 if they use a rare. Now, this is why you're peeling dice off the other guy's battle board, Hamza. That's crazy.
I've never used it.
What? Are you kidding me?
I mean, no, I used it twice, and one of the times was actually today when I played against my friend.
Okay. Well, this is one where just the existence of this ability could change how your opponent.
But I mean,
would leave stuff. They would just, I'm going all out on my turn, because there's no point in leaving 1 or 2 dice, maybe, depending on the situation.
Yeah, but I mean, the setup is insane. Like, I need to have 2 units within S of the opponent.
You're so mobile. Come on, it's gotta.
Yeah, but I don't have like a multi-activations.
Okay.
I want to keep activating 1 unit a lot of the time and not multiple units. So this is not good. And also, like, since I'm not picking this Saga dice is going to remove, I mean, usually the opponent has a bunch of Saga dice, or like 2 basically, and maybe one is like a combat bonus.
Or you'd leave like an activation even just to go into the next turn. There's a way to kind of get around it if you're really worried about it.
The setup is really hard. Like the way this happens is if the opponent just like goes straight at you with 1 unit. Otherwise, it's really difficult to set up, I think. I've used it. I think one of the best uses was against Flojo on the Discord, Florian. We played in Belgium the first game, and he had the Crusaders, the ability where they can like run away with an activation, right? Like I don't know what it's called. So, but he had charged me, so he was within S of 2 of my units, and I could stop that unit of knight from moving away.
Yeah, he was stuck in the line.
That was the only time it was good. I mean, I would never. I mean, I just play like it's not there.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it like when you see it and read it, it's like, oh man,
Hamza, I don't agree. I would set up my whole battle plan to make this happen. Yeah, I guess, if you know you're playing against it, you're going to make a little more concerted effort to kind of maintain the cohesion of your troops and keep them within short of each other. So I think that makes sense.
I mean, you don't have to do that. Just don't. I mean, just don't send a unit alone in front of my army. And you're going to be fine.
Well, I don't know. It kind of works out for you then, because once the composite bow unit gets fatigued off and runs away, at least they'll have to think twice about trying to chase it down and kind of beat it up, because they will have to, kind of send one unit by itself to go after it sometimes. So, yeah, interesting. Well, I'm going to have to start this faction and play a bunch of games
prove me wrong.
so I can prove you. Yeah. We'll have a follow-up.
All right.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool idea for a battle board ability.
I think like if it wasn't like 2 of my units, I would have use of this. But right now, I'm telling you, like I have a lot of games with these faction, and there's
a lot going on. Yeah, you're right. Well, let's go down to ability with a badass name, Damascus Steel. Uncommon or rare. Melee mounted units only. Lovely for the Hearthguard, Warlord. Those modern warriors, maybe, if you're taking them. Your attack does get a +1.
I mean, the Warlord is a bit, and the Hearthguard, I would be careful on using just the, because the opponent also gets a +1.
Yeah, so you get a +1, they get a +1, unless you use a rare.
Yeah.
So is the rare going to Scourge of the Infidels?
Yes.
First, and then
yes, it is.
maybe this one.
I mean, the use of this ability is, again, like if you combine it with Scourge of the Infidel, because then you're going to remove his dice, and if he gets a +1 and has 1 dice, who cares, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what this ability can do is like somebody who has like levy in terrain, and they think like, ooh, nobody's going to come after my levy, especially not the horses. Wrong. They're going to come in.
You'll go in with.
They're going to come in, and they're going to take away 4 of your dice, and they're going to like lower your armor to hit you on 2s, I think, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or if the levy have fatigue, so you can make auto hits. And then your opponent is like forced to spend your fatigues to bring them back up, and so on. So it's not always like great, but sometimes I use it. Mostly I use the ability below it, and I place the dice wrong.
Okay. Well, this is cool. Yeah, going in the terrain, that's interesting. Because you could just use a comment on Damascus Steel, and then you could use Scourge of the or uncommon,
uncommon and rare.
And then so if they're going to get +1 to hit you, but if you're just going to wipe them with Scourge of the Infidels, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. There aren't too many abilities that'll give you a +1. There's a few in Crusades.
Yeah.
But also nice. Probably. I don't know. Do you do suicide? I don't know. You could do a little suicide warrior unit, couldn't you? Use 4-pack warriors mounted.
No.
Brotherhood, soup them up.
I wouldn't do that because I feel like a 4-pack won't get enough dice. Like they get 8 and it's capped at 8, right? And even with +1, you're not killing enough levy with that.
We'd have to coordinate a little. You'd have to use Brotherhood to take the 4 to 7.
Yeah, but what if he saves?
What if he saves? Well, I don't know. That doesn't sound like a tournament-winning attitude to me, Hamza.
What was that? There was something I was going to say, but I forgot.
All right.
Anyway.
Sorry to derail you, buddy. But Yeah. So are you, if you don't get the rare, are you using this?
If I don't get the rare, I mean, yeah, now I remember what I was going to say. So having the Saracens, you're playing like an army that's mostly mounted. Everything has basically armor 4. So anything that shoots at you is very dangerous. They also, like, shooting units have range, which means they can shut down parts of the board for you. So if you can exchange one unit of warriors against his only shooting unit, it means it's worth a lot. So in that case, this is something that can be considered, and that's why I said, like, you can use it in terrain, because it gives you that extra power, even though terrain is really debilitating to horses.
Okay, that actually makes sense. So we've gone through, and I've taken a look. Maybe the last ability could be considered, but there's no shooting reaction or defensive buffs. It's pure combat bonus if you want it. So I could see putting extra effort in to kind of surprise them, wipe out that levy unit, or damage it so much it's not worth them trying to shoot you.
Yeah, or shooting warriors or whatever. But but then you can, like, put the distance between you and yourself and the opponent, and you can, like, control the flow of the game much better.
Okay. Well, let's jump down to Thoroughbred. Uncommon. Activates the unit to move. No restrictions, even though it's got a horsey-like title. You can move some
Thoroughbred is some kind of horse, I think.
Yeah. If it ends this movement more than long from all enemy units, it removes a fatigue. So that's handy.
This is pretty good. It takes a while. So what happens is, like, you do the entire movement activation, you get the fatigue, and at the end of it you remove the fatigue. So, like, if it ends the movement activation without outside of L, you take it off. So which means, like, the fatigue you can get from using this move is removed.
So you got your composite bow, they ride in, they shoot, and then they ride away. With this, you take a fatigue at the end, but you remove the fatigue.
Yes.
So you got a nice little one-off hit and run type ability, and this has got to be cool for post combat. After that melee, you're trying to get the Hearthguard out of there. You really don't like leaving fatigue on the Hearthy G's, so it looks like another way. And I like it. Nice little way to activate warriors too with the uncommon die.
Yeah, exactly. And you can use it on the infantry. A good play I've used sometimes is, like, maybe the warlord had a really tough fight and he wiped out something, but he's down like 2 fatigues or something, and then you can use this to basically shed fatigues.
Get him the heck out of there.
Like in the next turn or something. Right. Also, like, move up the levy in terrain, like secure those ruins really quickly. You move them up once, then with this, I mean, if the opponent is outside, you like inside without fatigue.
Ooh, yeah. Feasting and pillaging, robbing and ransacking. You're moving forward towards them, but you're still more than long, typically. So you're kind of using it offensively. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, and usually one of the plays I do is I, like, stock up a lot of activations, and my opponent at some point is forced to spend. I mean, with the Saracens, it always comes, and all of the composite bow faction, it comes down to, like, fatigue management, like both you and the opponent. It's almost like a wrath mechanic with the Jans Vikings. So putting a pressure on the opponent, like, when is he gonna spend my fatigue to remove the make it move short, and when should he leave it on? This is something that makes the decisions a bit more difficult for the opponent. And also, like, you yourself also have to think through, like, should I use this immediately after the combat, or should I just use a normal move, and maybe should he, like, if he tries to shorten that, then you can move this, use this, and then you'll be, like, farther away basically.
Yeah,
and
it's
also
tough to try to get away from a canny opponent. They'll just keep shortening you. You get the fatigue again. It can be tough to get away. But if you have Thoroughbred, there's at some point you're going to get over that threshold.
Yeah.
So they might just cancel it entirely, but that got rid of the fatigue anyway. So
And also you can use this, like, to move up. Like, your opponent doesn't really know where it's going. Like, it can be an infantry unit, like this is, like, one of the fun parts of the board, actually, making things more difficult to guess what's going to happen, where the attack is coming, like what unit's going to do it and so on. So I'd rate this one of the better abilities on this board.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tricky to do, and also if you're a opponent to the Saracens player, it's worth measuring. Like, even if you let him do it, can he actually get LOA or not? So it requires a bit of measuring to do it, and also practice. Like, how will I do my charge? Where I'm gonna put all the models? I don't want to, come too close to another unit, and also, like, when you pick targets, you need to decide, like, okay, you can go straight into your opponent's army, but if he has like more units on the flanks, then that means you can't get away out. But if
tough.
You pick something on a flank, then you can get away because there's nothing.
You can kind of just pivot towards the outside,
Yeah.
Away from the main battle. And
so it took me a while to use it successfully, and also, again, like, not having the it helps having smaller bases with this, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, we're going down to the last one. Fun to see a board. Not too many boards have a double rare component. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but appeal to the prophet orders reaction. Okay, that's interesting. It's the other guy's turn. Until the end of the turn, all of your units gain the resilience 2 special rule. So any double rare abilities, tough to plan around, but you pick up those dice, turn 3, you roll 4 rares out of 7. Every once in a while you get something weird like that. Are you excited, or are you just ignoring this?
I was ignoring it for a long while until I started to play against the Normans, and I figured I felt like there's no way I can defeat them. Because they're gonna shoot across the entire board, they're gonna charge across the entire board, and it's over. And until all that needs to happen is like one of the turns, like the first 2 maybe, where you have this and you can. It's hard to plan for, but when you have like 7 dice or something, you can really mess things up for the opponent, because suddenly your units can move up and shooting won't do anything. Shooting is, they don't care about shooting.
Yeah, so this is the one anti-shooting ability. It works in melee too, but you can just absorb any number of shooting volleys with.
They need to shoot a lot to and especially if you have like a banner on a unit of warriors, it's really tough to do anything about them. And this also works on the mercenaries. We're going to talk a little bit about which ones I use.
Yeah.
But it's a great ability, but 2 rares, you never know when. If 7 or 8 dice when you play, but it's not. I feel like some of the, like, there's a lot of abilities on this board that use rares. I can count like 6 or 5, 6 something. It feels like they were designed to take. The priest was supposed to be taken with this board, but since the priest doesn't generate dice, he's not a choice, I think.
Yeah. We'll see.
But
maybe
the priest really helped.
Maybe he'll get it back before.
Maybe.
Before.
But yeah, I feel like they were maybe they thought about, like, maybe they should have like the priest. And I've tried the priest with 7 dice build, but you dilute so much combat power from the rest of the army to have him, and it's not. You only, like, it's really good if you can get it in the first or the second turn. After that, you get, it doesn't matter. You should have handled the dangerous units of your opponent, the shooting units, or it's over. So this doesn't.
This again, Resilience 2 is so much better than Resilience 1. Even if they come at you in melee, they kind of got to do multiple attacks. But even then, it doesn't really work because they can't spend the fatigue once you're exhausted, or else you'll just block it again. So this causes an inordinate amount of effort to remove models from your board when you have this up. So
and the way I use this is to advance. And in that case, most of the time it's not worth it, but in that case it's really good. You can do an advance like directly to your opponent, or one of his, like, ready to attack one of his sides, and this is on, there's not a lot he can do. He needs to devote a lot of resources to get through. It can really mess up with the opponent's plans if it happens.
Definitely, yeah. Put this up. Yeah,
but I mean, I played tournaments where where I didn't roll like double rare.
It's the thing, yeah, double rare. That's kind of why I don't like them that much, because it makes a big difference whether you roll it or not. You know, in the game, it can be exciting. Ooh, am I going to get it or not? But
I wish they had. I mean, if these factions, I mean, it could have been a lot better if they had some kind of shooting defense, because this is the only thing except for the combat pool.
Okay. Well, we've gone through every ability on this board, and can you just talk a little bit about the composite bow, probably warrior unit that you're taking? Are you going like on a suicide run?
No.
With those just moving in front, or you go and shoot, pull back? How does it work out?
Depends. I should have been prepared. It depends a bit on like what the opponent is doing. Like,
there's so many variables, obviously, but there's got to be
one of the difficult things for the composite bow warriors are the anything on foot, because they can close ranks in melee, meaning that they don't take away your you won't do damage to them, and they're hard to hit. They're armor 4. But anything that can close ranks, the composite bows are pretty devastating, because, and especially against like other mounted units, because they're gonna be hitting on 3s, and so the warriors with composite bows they're a very violent unit. They can do a lot of damage, especially with like Scourge of the Infidels, because I will be like retaining a lot of combat power. And what it mainly does, it puts the opponent in like situation where he has to think about, should he remove my fatigue or not? And the composite bow helps with that. Like if he doesn't remove the fatigue, then I'm going to shoot at him. And like I said, like the warriors on foot, they won't be taking so much damage in the first place. So for them, they don't care so much. But like a unit of like 5 warrior horses that get shot with composite bows, the opponent has to like really consider like, okay, maybe I'll lose a Saga dice now if I don't remove it.
Yeah, because
so
you can
I use them like to move in, usually fight in with overwhelming like how do you say? With the Scourge of the Infidels, I won't be taking damage. I will be doing damage to the opponent. Then I will shoot again.
Yeah, so
maybe
move, shoot, charge, then shoot again after the combat.
And maybe charge again.
And then you could do it again.
Yeah. And the cycle continues. Like, maybe you charge another unit that's nearby. So it comes down to, like, trying to pressuring the opponent to remove the fatigues at bad spots and keeping them when it's not good for him. Usually what he wants to do is, like, don't remove your fatigue, but your job is to create situations that like really that almost like force him to do it if he wants to retain his Saga dice or his models. So that's what the composite bow does. So it's not like completely like I mean I try to sometimes right away, or at least put them in a situation where like, okay, the opponent can come at them, but then I will countercharge with something else. And in my way, I think like the horse warriors, they have like 1 pip more of armor, but the 4 extra dice in shooting, I think, is more valuable.
Flexibility.
And the weaknesses are basically the same. They don't want to be shot, and they don't want to be charged.
Yeah. All right, that makes
so. In some
sense.
situations, you want to use the composite bow warrior. Sometimes you want lately, I've been trying to use a unit on foot without any equipment because they're so tanky.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 abilities here, which can be very defensive: Indomitable, Coordination, Scourge the Infidels. So you can see how you can use that to keep the composite bow guys alive. But if you just use them on the foot guys already, there's just like a crazy amount of defensive power you can unleash there.
Yeah. So one of the things like you have to consider as a Saracen player is like, how do you start the attacks and how do you like have something for your turn? It comes down to like okay, maybe if I use Brotherhood and Coordination, I can carry out a really strong attack, and then I'll keep the Scourge for the opponent's turn, so he won't.
Just a blunt, yeah.
But again, like if you're playing like Viking Age armies, I think the Saracens are a bit more in trouble because those armies have so much combat power. So if you remove 4 dice, that's nothing.
Yeah, there's
They
another
still have
8
like
or...
20. Now they have 22.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So it's going to stop the berserkers, yeah.
Yeah, or the I played a game today against the Pagan Russ, and he had, I mean, his hard card came in with like 16 dice.
Yeah, those guys.
Remove 4, doesn't matter.
The Scots can get a bunch, the Welsh, Norse Gales. Yeah, there's quite a few that can just get a bucket of dice.
Yeah. Also, Crusaders can do it as well. I think they're the one of the more challenging factions to play in the Crusade era, like Saracens against Crusaders. Because Crusaders can carry out like strong melee attacks, they can carry out very strong shooting attacks as well, and they can also like move in your.
Got it all.
Yeah.
All right. What Merc units? You mentioned them before. Do you have a couple go-tos with these guys?
Yeah, I think like unfortunately the Islamic factions don't have the no-brainer unit of the Crusader, the Turcopol.
Turcopol, yeah, they need.
They have the Nafta, the flamethrowers, which are really strange, very dangerous to yourself. Mm-hmm. The ones I consider would be the priest. If I can, I rarely parry with the priest, but the one I really like are the borderers with heavy weapons.
Yeah.
So what they do is they bring something this army struggles with, which is infantry in terrain.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Those guys,
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. If somebody puts his levy in like a building in the middle of the board, he's gonna be in trouble.
Send in the Delamies. We're going for him.
Yeah. I use the heavy weapons because they're hard to charge. Like they do damage even if you charge them. The javelins can shoot, but I mean if I'm playing like with 3 composite bow units and 2 levy units, I have enough. I have enough shots.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. So, everything being even, maybe you would prefer levy or javelins. You would think, but with the heavy weapons. And that unit in particular, your opponent is going to go make extra effort to engage them on their turn before you can do anything. So if they just got the javelins, they kind of like, well, I'm going to have to spend an extra activate, go in with a fatigue or 2, but it's countered by the low armor of the javelins. But now if they do that, they're coming in with a fatigue or 2 and you're chopping at them with a +1. It's like, ugh, I don't like that.
No, and also like what this faction struggles with, like foot infantry that can close ranks, and javelins don't work so well against that. And the weapons they really bring. I play them a lot of games, and sometimes they die, they do nothing. I screw up deployment and they get shot to pieces. But sometimes they just do the really help out. I played. In the British Grand Melee last year, I played against a guy who had like 3 elephants. So going in with the mounted units was dangerous.
Not so good, yeah.
But those guys really, the borderers really chopped them to bits.
Yeah, the slow elephant, they can't get away. We'll run you down and chop you up. Yeah. That's awesome.
Not everybody, of course, plays like mixed eras, but even in like the Crusades, I think they're useful.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Secondly, the scouts on camels can be pretty good.
Camis.
One of the things you can do is put a big forest. We haven't got into it yet, but I mean this faction, like I said, it struggles against shooting, and having a good terrain setup is very important. I built a lot of hills in my gaming group.
Yeah, that's the number one.
I think I built 4 or 5, so we have like. Different boards, and you want to put some line of sight block, and a thing you can do is also have the like a wood, put the psychic scouts in and just like ride out, shoot, and ride back or something like that, or just like fight and just go back in the woods, and then the opponent's cavalry can't come at you.
Interesting. So the scouts on the camels, they They have composite bows? Is that what?
No, they have javelin.
They have javelins on a camel.
Yeah.
That's
but
awesome.
I don't know if I would use the camels because again the foot. I think you need to have the whole unit in, and the foot unit is easier to get them all inside the terrain.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you trigger their bonus, because what they do is like they make a piece of uneven terrain, like open terrain, and they make a piece of dangerous terrain, uneven terrain.
Everybody else, yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Or movement activations only. So chargers, no.
Oh, good point. Good.
So yeah, that's it. I think they can also take the sailors. Never use those. What else is there? The personal champion. Never use that either. I don't know about the. Some people are using the. Maybe not for Saracens, but the bodyguards, the lifeguards.
Oh yeah.
I don't see those guys. I don't see like how you're going to use them, because if there was a way to shed fatigues from the warlord, then of course, but there is none. So yeah, I see. And also you want many dice with these guys. You don't want a unit that doesn't generate like a dice. Sure.
So what do you use for your models?
Well, that's a difficult question. It depends like what you want to represent, what like era and geography, and what like I don't know if you want to say like state or like people. So I picked like a Turkic Persian style army, like that's supposed to represent one of those like the late caliphates or whatever, like before the Crusades, but they're called the Ghaznavids, which were like an empire that existed in Pakistan basically, and they had like a huge empire, kind of fell apart before the Crusades, but you can use this board to represent those, and the models I use are Butsor, the Seljuks, and the Dilamites. The Dilamites are good for like Persian infantry, and the Seljuks are good for like horse, like the mounted horse archers that they have.
Sounds good. What do you use for the borderers with the choppers?
For the borderers, I've used also Dilamites, but I've put like 2 weapons on them.
So like one in each hand, kind of.
Huh?
Like
one in each hand, and also like maces.
Okay.
Instead of, so I had to like twist the arms a bit, so they.
That's cool. Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes them distinct. Yeah, that's.
But if I was gonna do it right now, I would like wait for the new like Futsor Kickstarter. The Outremer, they have some really nice like representing the Ayyubids that fought in the Crusades. They have some really great like Arab Levant style models. And also the Perry miniatures are really good for this type of
yeah, I bet they have a ton. I haven't really.
Yeah, you can basically do everything with them.
That's cool.
But I don't like the gripping beast plastics.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up. Let you. Put you on a platform here.
I think like they're representing like different things, like pieces of different like civilizations and times. But when you put it all together, it's a bit mismatched. Like so, they have like these very flowy robes that, from my understanding, they would like put those up when they fought. So
secure.
Otherwise, they would get in the way.
Strap them down.
Yeah.
Gird the loins.
Hoist the loins or something.
Gird the loins. Yeah.
So they have those, and that wasn't so popular in like the more Persian, Eastern, Islamic, locations. That and also like they have, some of them have turbans, some of them have like the more Turkish hats. So it's I mean, you can use it to represent like Bedouins and so on, but not like really like a professional army, which I think what the Saracens are supposed to represent. But I mean, you can do whatever you like. But I just feel like they have a little bit of everything, and when you put it together, it doesn't look right.
Little mismatched.
Yeah,
you looked at the
beast.
You looked at the Fireforge. As we record this, they're not out yet. Any of them. They're new. Islamic infantry. When this is posted, they probably will be out. But, did you take a look at those?
Yes, I've seen them, and they're more of like a Western, like the Moors.
Okay.
They have like the veils, which was typical for like the Bedouin style or the Berber style infantry, like the flowy robes, the veils, and so on.
Okay.
So, I mean, of course, like in Saga, it's not super strict historically, but I mean, taking the Turkish style, like horse archers with them would, I think, look out of place. I do this all the time myself because my army isn't like fully completed yet, but
yeah, you're always plugging away on stuff, though. How many points is the Saracen army at this point?
Fully completed with the models I like for the Ghaznavids, I picked like the Turkish like cavalry, Persian infantry, and Indian levy, right? Because they had those. So that's like 7 points now, I think.
Okay.
I'm still looking to make more warriors on foot and herd guard without equipment, like just horses.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah. Looks like you got a few bases to cover yet. Looking forward to seeing those. Love your hobby picks of these guys. Yeah. But what's the Bane army that you're going up against with Saracens? Or you just...
I covered it a little bit, but anything like foot armies are difficult. Anything that has like a lot of combat power, where it doesn't help that you remove like a bunch of dice, where your like armor starts to work against you. Okay. So one of the game I played against Milic Christie at the Polish Grand Melee, which I lost, he used these very large units of like herd guard and warriors. So if I removed 4 dice from them, I would still be crushed.
Sure.
So I mean, usually like foot factions can be hard to deal with, and anything that that can like just take a lot of combat power is hard to deal with.
Anything that can shoot you and kill you in melee.
Yeah.
So, that's
so
only
I think like
90% of enemy warbands you got to worry about.
I think this is a hard board to play. I mean, you need a lot of practice with like distances, trying to like understand how to like push the opponent to removing your fatigue, what parts of the army to attack, how to set up attacks. It's not... I mean, all Saga armies are kind of... not all of them are like super easy, but I think this is... The game I've played with these are much harder than when I played like Byzantines or some of the others.
It's like you said, there's a little condition attached to everything. Yeah. And I think the composite bow troops are just inherently, you have to know what you're doing, because you can just get in trouble if you use them poorly or unwisely. And so I can definitely see that. You don't have a lot of shooting reaction, so if you don't play careful there, you could get shot up real quick. Yeah, if you fail a few saves on turn 2, you're exhaling. Whew, all right, what are we going to do?
One of my opponents, just in a recent game, he shot me with he played the Franks, and he shot like they had some way they can do auto hits, and he shot away like a full 8 points of warriors.
8 warriors down. Nasty.
I was like, I'm gonna do 9 defense dice. I failed 8. Ooh, they're gone. Goodbye.
All right. Well, I think we're getting close to wrapping up here. I want to give a thank you to Terry, Patrick, Sean, Mitchell, Kevin, Scott, and a bunch of the other Saga Thursday patrons. Wouldn't be able to do these additional faction reviews without you guys. Thank you very much. And I'm curious if you play with or against the Saracens. If you have anything you want to add, post below. Be curious. I mean, come on, Ruse people. It's got to be the top dog on any board here. So come chime in, support me or Hamza. We'll get a hate war brewing in the comments with that or something. I don't know.
I'll start 4 new accounts. I can like argue with myself to get it going.
Yeah, you're kind of a secret troller, I think. I got to keep my eye on you. But definitely post below if you've had success with these guys. I'd be curious, reaching out, there wasn't too many people playing this faction. So hopefully, since we've done this, I've heard before, the masses will come out. There's going to be 25 new Saracen armies started because of this video here, Hamza. So you're doing your part. Yeah, they might not thank you. They might not thank you in a couple months, but they'll be excited to start it. But yeah, that's it. Thanks once again, Hamza. You've been in a few of these videos, so I definitely appreciate it. It's good chatting with you. And hopefully we'll do another one at some point. Maybe I'll get back over to Europe, crash at your house, get some waffles. That'd be nice.
Always welcome.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's it for this one, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye. Saga! If you'd like to see more Saga content, consider joining the Heathen Army over on Patreon or popping on down to the Saga Thursday Discord server. Links below. Thanks, guys.